Down at the bottom, we have controls for applying FM and AM, or frequency modulation and amplitude modulation. There's a lot you can go into here, but just briefly, if I increase the dial here, it just applies frequency modulation to the waveform or the wavetable. It's a very cool and kind of classic sound that is particularly good if you modulate it. In a nutshell, it's generally best to start off with a fairly simple sound first. If you have a more complex sound that already has some harmonics, then applying lots of frequency modulation will make the sound really seriously complex and quite noisy. Which may or may not be something you're after. And as you increase the rate here in the middle, you'll hear those harmonics that are added raise in pitch as well. So loads of fun there. Amplitude modulation is a bit subtler, particularly if you have a low rate. So if using this, I generally suggest that you increase the rate. But it is a subtle one to try, so also a lot of fun. And with all of these, you can change the different options on the dial. So for example, you can change the waveforms of the modulator when amplitude or frequency modulating, which can change the character of the modulation. And the same for frequency modulation, but you might generally want to keep it probably on sine with frequency modulation because it gets incredibly complex otherwise, but maybe not. And with this dial, you can change the pitches that the dial selects. Set to harmonic, then it's most likely to be in tune, so you'll probably just want to leave it on that. But if you wanted to try some of these other options here with maybe a limited set of just octaves, then you could try that. Or set it to free if you just want to have a completely free range of pitches there. With the only real advantage of that being you can make it go quite a lot slower, but then it really becomes an LFO. But it can be nice if you set it very slow to apply a bit of tremolo to a sound. Not so much use on the FM side because it just sounds like applying an LFO to the pitch. So yeah, that's just a rough guide to the FM and AM options, but we'll go into them in more detail later on.